David Inocencio.
Name Ari Glostov.
My name is Alana in Action. I am 20 years old. I'm a sophomore at Barnard College, and I am double majoring in psychology and theater with a concentration in costume design. I was in junior year of high school. I was also enrolled in AP Art, which is when I started doing a lot of digital work. And that year was also the year where I started getting really sick with an eating disorder, with anorexia. I was a slightly overweight kid, and my parents were really nervous. So they started sending me to nutritionists at the age of 6, which was definitely too young. I didn't grow up having a normal relationship with food, and it was definitely a control thing because everyone around me was controlling my food for me. In high school, when things started to get harder with kids being mean to me and the stress of school, I just took all of that out on controlling my diet and my exercise. I lost a lot of weight. I lost about 60 pounds. I think my lowest was 78 pounds. Art has always been a big part of me. I'd never done digital work before that year, and actually kind of a side effect of a lot of the medications I was on and just things I was on from being in the hospital, that my hands started shaking and I couldn't draw anymore, so he got me into digital work. Work kind of shows the evolution of how I grew. Is I'll come up with an idea, and for the big body of work, the idea was a labyrinth. A labyrinth you can't get lost in. I went into the hospital. We had this meditation group, and there was one week where they gave us the labyrinth meditation. It's a reminder to me of what I've been through and how life isn't a straight line. It's just a really crazy year with a lot of stuff happening in the outside world. And I think that was the first time where it really just gave me my own world where I could make the rules, and I could make beautiful things, and I could make things happen the way I wanted them to.
David Inocencio, and I'm the founder and director of The Beat Within. And The Beat Within is a weekly publication or bi-weekly publication of writing and art from inside juvenile hall. Since 1996, we've been going into juvenile halls leading writing and conversation workshops. It started in the San Francisco Juvenile Hall and has blossomed organically into something really special for not just the San Francisco community, but for 25 juvenile detention facilities in the Bay Area and throughout the United States. How many young people are sitting in a courtroom, and when a judge or lawyer will talk to them, they would just shrug their shoulders and act like they don't know the answer, when in truth they do know the answer, but they were so intimidated by the process of the courts. But if anything, if I could create, going back now to The Beat Within, I wanted them to realize that their voice did matter. If I could kind of help empower some young people to realize how powerful it is to be able to present your story, to write, to read, to share. Maybe it can help some of our writers' cases, and it has over the years. Powers, I think, a young person to feel, God, this is pretty darn cool that I am being published. How many people can say they've been published and they're only 15, 16 years old and they may never graduate high school, but they've been published?
I'm Renee Tertia McDonald. I'm 18 years old and I am a senior at the Jewish Community High School. When I was 9, I was diagnosed with OCD, and it was really hard for me to fit that into who I was, because I was really kind of confused by it and didn't really know what it meant and how it would impact who I was, even though I'd been living with it. Once it had a name, it kind of caught me off guard. And so elementary school and middle school, I knew that I had it and it affected who I was on a daily basis, but I didn't really know how to confront it on a daily basis and work through the way it made me do things. And then in acting, I found that when I was on stage and when I was reading my lines and stuff, it completely just went away. And I didn't have to do the things, my little rituals, so to speak, or compulsions, however you want to describe them. I didn't feel the need to do them when I was on stage. Ever since then, I've just been in every single play, and it's really taken over my life, and it's taken over who I am, and has greatly impacted who I think I am today and who I want to be in the future. I've always been kind of shy and socially awkward, and theater is where I made all of my really close friends. Being on stage and talking in front of people is absolutely terrifying, and every single time I'm about to go on stage, I'm like, why am I doing this? It's so scary. But I know that it's made me a more confident person. It wasn't as if I walked off stage and I had OCD and I walked on stage and I didn't. It's not like a clear-cut thing, but acting allowed me to kind of let it go and know that it doesn't necessarily define all of me. When I'm on stage, I just don't have to be like a slave to my OCD. I didn't feel like I would be judged there, and I felt like it was really just an escape. Like, I remember days waking up and knowing that the only reason that I was going to school was so that I could get to rehearsal.
My name's Ari Glostoff. I'm 22 years old, and I'm an actor and musician living in Los Angeles and going to school. When your face turns rosy red from a funny joke I said, and we laugh out loud 'cause nothing can bring us down. I want you to know that I want to go with you, do the things that lovers never do these days. From a very young age, probably around 4 or 5, I always seemed to feel like I struggled a lot with being very anxious as a kid. That kind of gradually grew as I got older, more of a depression-like symptoms. So I was brought up in a very musical family. That kind of aspect of my life was always there, so I felt like that was also kind of a coping mechanism. And some form of self-expression I've always leaned on. I would always start out picking up the guitar because I just thought it was fun to learn and play. And then I started like writing songs because, you know, if you want to play music, it's fun to write your own songs. And it was one of those, almost like this subconscious part of me that as I was writing the songs, I didn't really think about what I was saying in them. It just kind of like, it's one of those things that you're just playing, and whatever is running around up in your brain just kind of comes out when you're writing the music.
My name is Cheryl Bardkey, and I'm a licensed professional clinical counselor, and I'm also a creative arts dance movement therapist. How I would explain it is that it's a form of psychotherapy that uses the body and movement as a way for someone to understand who they are, to learn about themselves, and to heal from difficulties, traumas, just difficult life experiences. And it's a way to really create an integration of body, mind, spirit, and emotions. We, do a lot of thinking and a lot of talking, but there's not a lot of moving. So I think that absolutely it allows us to be real and to learn about ourselves.
My name is Heather Marlowe, and I'm a performer and a musician. 2010, I was drugged and raped at Beta Breakers, and then subsequently I was put in charge of my own investigation from the San Francisco Police Department, and they put me in charge to try A, to find my suspect, and then B, there was very little follow-up because I had a rape kit done, and I had was told that it would be processed in 14 days, but the rape kit languished for over 2.5 years. So from that experience, it was very confusing, very traumatic, and very disempowering for me. I first started writing about just my experiences in general, and then I decided that creating theater out of what had happened to me was probably going to be the most useful. In performing, there's this third thing that happens. So there's you, there's your story, but then in a performative arena, there's your relationship in the with the audience, and that sort of creates this third thing where there's I'm able to be more expressive and take risks and be more truthful versus and I have more courage. I pursued it out of a need to have expression and have transformation and have healing for difficulties that had happened earlier on. So not only has it been something that I identify with just sort of on my own individually, but it's also been a vehicle for me to really alchemize and transform a lot of darker things that have happened. So
if someone's struggling, I would just say to them, find something that you enjoy doing. Whether that's painting, whether that's singing in the shower, whatever it is, express yourself in.
It really is my therapy. It's my way of being able to get through the stuff going on in my life.
Arts are certainly have enormous potential for healing. Really they've been used as healing tools forever.
Art has definitely helped me become a person who's comfortable expressing myself. You know, when you're showing people a reflection of you, you're putting yourself out there, and I think it really helped me just to be comfortable with who I am, because people are going to look at it, they're going to see it, and they're going to have to take it however it is that they take it, and I've made it, and that's it. So listen.
You know, I like to say that some people have to pay to go to therapy once a week, but I have it every single day of my life.
To be a good artist, I think you have to be you have to be introspective and really look at yourself, and you have to have a good eye with yourself and the world. But I would so encourage them to just keep pursuing what their particular artistic path, for sure.
Feel confident that your voice does matter. What you have to say does matter. I may not agree with you, but it does matter what you have to say.
Art doesn't have to be picking up a paintbrush or a guitar or even going on stage and acting. Art can be parkour, or art can be playing basketball, or writing a book. Whatever you enjoy, make that something that you incorporate into your life. Do it.
Take that little ride. We'll sit there holding hands and everything will be just right.